who are you and where are you from?
Hello, my name is Tim Doherty. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota.
All right, and we're here on the Florida Keys at the Baby's Coffee. It's kind of a famous stop before Key West. So what do you do?
I'm a retired energy engineer, but for many years I worked in energy conservation, developing energy conservation projects, helping large businesses and homeowners save energy. I'm a certified energy consultant, a certified energy manager through the Association of Energy Engineers. I'm also a certified demand-side engineer, and I have a degree in finance and economics. So I developed the economics of conservation projects.
Wow. And you mentioned something earlier that you save so much carbon, or?
Yeah, well, a big component of my job for the last 20-some years was implementing state-mandated conservation programs. And through those programs, we help businesses and homeowners save energy. We teach them how to save energy. We help them implement the technologies that save energy. We monitor the energy savings, and we comply with the state mandates, meeting the quotas that are set out by them.
Fantastic. How has the climate changed since you were a kid, or has it changed since
you were a kid? It has changed. It's definitely getting warmer. I monitor the heating degree days in the upper Midwest, and the heating degree days are getting smaller, and the cooling hours are getting greater, and the total enthalpy has been increasing continually in the 28 years that I've been doing conservation projects.
Wow. And so on an everyday basis, say on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about the climate?
Oh, I'm very concerned, and it's going in the wrong direction. I'm also concerned because at this point, there's probably not much that can be done about it. The efforts that have been implemented are having minimal effect. Many people think that I'm anti-renewable, but the fact is I'm not anti-renewable, I'm pro-economics. So what that means is that I believe in conservation, and conservation is the key to reducing carbon contribution to the atmosphere. The reason it's the best choice is that it costs 1/10 to conserve, darn chickens, it costs 1/10 to conserve energy that it does to implement renewable energy. So what that means is a lot of capital that is being spent on renewable energy is unavailable for conservation. And it costs 10 times more to implement conservation savings than it does, or renewable savings than it does conservation. For example, to remove 1,000 pounds of carbon from the atmosphere, it would cost you, let's say, $75,000 of photoelectric. To do the same, with that same same cost, you could remove 10 times the carbon through conservation. We know this is true because half of the energy that the electric producers create is wasted. It's wasted through lighting, it's wasted through bad temperature controls, it's wasted myriad ways. So conservation is really the key.
Wow. Given what you know for the future, are you optimistic, pessimistic, and is there anything we can do?
I'm pessimistic largely because the belief, the widespread belief, the consensus is that renewable energy is the key to reducing carbon contribution and getting global warming under control, when in fact it's not. When you consider what I said earlier, that half of the energy produced by energy producers is wasted, you see that we're building conservation infrastructure to serve wasted energy. Instead of building that infrastructure and using ecological resources to build that infrastructure, we could simply save energy through simple technologies that are widely available. So your question was, am I optimistic? No, because the policymakers are all mandating renewable energy and giving lots of incentives toward renewable energy. And a lot of conservationists are at odds with me. They think, again, I said earlier, many think I'm anti-renewable, but I'm not. I'm pro-economics. And because of the economics that I mentioned, conservation is the way to go. We're wasting energy. We could save it easily and cheaply instead of building renewable infrastructure that takes up habitat, that takes up resources, it takes up ecological resources. None of that has to be built if we simply save the energy, save a lot of money. So I'm not optimistic because renewable energy is so popular and everybody thinks that that's the way to go.
And when you're talking renewable, you're talking wind,
Solar and wind.
And
solar
electric cars and that sort of thing.
And wind,
and all we really have to do is
conserve
better what we're doing.
Implement the technologies that are readily available. And I have many, many examples of the minority of corporations that are doing true energy management and have cut their consumption by as much as a third, which represents millions and millions of pounds of carbon that's avoided getting into the atmosphere. That's a minority of corporations. Most corporations do something. Some do nothing, and then the really good ones on the other end do a whole heck of a lot, and then most of them in between, do something toward conservation, but a whole heck of a lot more can be done.
Very good. Here on the 11th of February on the Florida Keys at Baby's Coffee. Thank you very much.
Thank you.